everyday funeral directing. We can come in here every morning, we can be a lot of jobs and things to do, but that can change at a moment's notice. The phone could ring, or the whole three of them could ring, and they could be funerals. That somebody says, look, somebody's died, I need to do an arrangement. So therefore, everything has to be resorted and worked out so that that person is accommodated. That's reality.
Hello, funeral directors, Jeff speaking. Yes, good morning. Yep, sure. No, we're certainly able to help. Sorry, just bear with me. Yes, it's about 2:30 morning. No, that's fine. That's not a problem. That's quite okay. Which nursing home were you calling from? That's on Main North Road. That's correct. Yep. Okay. Now, could I just ask the name of the gentleman that's passed away? Now, do you have any on your records there at the nurses' station? Do you have any next of kin and her first name? Dulcie. Right. Okay. My name's Jeff. I'm a funeral director, and I've just completed being on call 24 hours a day over the weekend. It's now Monday morning. I'm heading into work, which means firstly I survived the weekend. We weren't too busy, had a few phone calls and met with a few families and just organised some arrangements for their family members.
So it's going to be a busy week?
I probably won't be busy, but there'll be things going on all the time because we still don't know what's going to happen today yet.
What are some popular myths or beliefs that people have about people who work in funerals, like stereotypes or something like that?
Stereotypes are probably like, for instance, we either live in little dark holes and come out when there's a job needs to be done. I think is what some people's perception is. I think largely people just don't know. That's how they make up their own minds, but I think Hollywood has got a lot to answer for that.
Like 6 Feet Under?
Absolutely.
You seen that show?
Absolutely. It's
is that a favourite?
Well, my impression of it is, if I could use the term, it's a load of tripe.
What's the biggest difference between the TV show and reality?
I think the TV show really is presented in such a way that it provides the viewer with exactly what they want to see. All the misconceptions, really.
Service, case and chapel condition as well.
Getting into the industry, it's not something that you can just go and do. It's not like there's a training scheme where you can go and get trained to do it and then get the job. For instance, like a office worker or mechanic or something like that. What inspired me to get into it, I think, came from an inbuilt thing inside me, just to want to be with people, just to want to help people in hard times. And I didn't wake up one day and realise, wow, I want to be a funeral director. No, it was a case of I had this drive to actually be working with people, to care for them. My first day at work was like a slap in the face. I'd seen a little bit of the funeral home, I'd seen the office, I'd seen some of the interview rooms when I was experiencing my job interview with the employer and the manager. However, when I started work there and then started to actually see behind the scenes and get a little bit more involved, it was very, very confronting. It forced me to look at my own sense of mortality. Dealing with death every day is complicated. It doesn't mean it's hard. What it means is that everyone deals with death differently. Some people find that they just freeze up and just don't know what to do. Some people just seem very matter-of-fact and almost running on autopilot. Basically, death takes us beyond what we know from our normal experiences. I think the best things is just being with people. I guess you have to be a people sort of person. But my greatest passion, I think, working in this industry, is simply being there for the people in their time of need. We need to be close enough to the family to gauge their sense of need and where they're coming from and what they're trying to say as they're expressing themselves. But at the same time, you can't be too close that you don't remain objective. And so you also have to remain separated enough that your objectivity can serve them. Otherwise we can get emotional and it doesn't serve anyone any good if you do. No, not a lot. There's often only one or maybe two people in a funeral home that does have an embalmer's license. But it is a skill that is needed, absolutely. I think I would like to continue being a funeral director. I don't want to become just one or the other. But I know that there'll be a shift in time, there'll be a shift from one to the other, perhaps more so. However, I would still like to be able to be involved with the family, but at the same time, become involved perhaps more so in the mortuary as well.
I've been working in here since 1986.
Really?
November 86, yes.
So what made you start work as a mortician?
Mr. Forkey asked me if I'd like to come work for him.
So what's the best thing about your job?
The best thing about it is receiving something that's not good and making something really good of it. I learned years and years ago, I had a really bad case. Really upset me. It was a male, and that person fell on a big 5-foot saw, and they were a mess, and it really upset me. And from that moment on, I said to myself, I'm not going to look at what I have, I'm going to look at what I want. And from that time on, I walk in through that door, I do my job, walk out the door and go home. And that way I don't have any hassles with it.
Why do you continue to be a funeral director or like a mortician after all this time?
I really enjoy it. What it is when I was the funeral director, I used to say to people, they would say to me, if only I'd have done this or only done that. I would say to them, you can't have if onlys. If onlys are a figment of your imagination. You have to deal with reality. I deal with reality every day. I deal with people that are a shell. And for the family to come in and see a person that is at peace, they look good, they can feel comfortable with it, they can go away with good memories. After the funerals, the funeral director will come and say to me, oh, they thought the person was really good, they were really happy with them. That to me speaks volumes of the type of work that I do. And that gives me great pleasure. People will think that we're macabre or way out, but we're just like anybody else. We're doing a job, and that job is making somebody that doesn't look good to make them look good.